Welcome. Let's start with our opening prayer and then off we go with our angel readings. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so Bruna's saying good morning from Brazil. Good morning. Let's just pull our decks today. I've got two decks. I've got our angel cards, the blue ones from Jackie Newcomb, and I've got the Doreen Virtue decks. Okay. Okay. Hi, Sky. Hi, Aisha. Love Sunshine. Dear Sky, could you please see my chakras, please? Any advice on what to work on? So they're immediately showing me heart and throat chakras being blocked. So fear of communicating love and fear of like speaking your truth and not being heard. Guys, one of the real things I've learned the last 2 years is that speaking your truth and being right has nothing to do with how the other person responds. In fact, if they came from a family that was like authoritarian or narcissistic or abusive, you speaking your truth will set them off. You know, they will become even more abusive because their goal is to control you. Their goal is to silence you. So a lot of you are not speaking your truth, the angels are showing me, because you're using the person's reaction as validation for whether or not it was a good idea to speak your truth or not. What you should be using is your values. So does it match with your integrity? Is it true for you? Is it an accurate representation of your feelings? You don't communicate your feelings for somebody else. You communicate your feelings because you deserve to exist. You deserve to take up space. But you don't communicate and base the validity of your communication on the other person's response to that communication, because you know, how somebody responds is a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. Okay, we, your angels, are helping you heal this situation. Okay, so let's just do a quick chakra clearing on your throat and on your heart. Done. Okay. Next one. Oh, pouring in now. Okay, Aisha saying, hi Sky, please can I have a reading? My attempts to making money aren't working out for me in the past, so I'm hesitant to believe that it will work now. What is the highest of this situation? Any insight? So the word that I'm hearing your guardian angel say is consistency. So your attempts at making money in the past, because you believed it wouldn't work, have been dramatically inconsistent. What happens is when we don't understand our own worth, we think that what we create has the worth. And when we don't know how to sell it, we then switch from one thing to the other thing to the other. Like, oh, I'll never be successful as a hypnotist, so I'll switch to being a theta healer. So I'll switch to being an access person. So I'll switch to being an RTT therapist. So I'll switch to being this, whatever it is, right? If we don't believe in our own worth, if our value is not in alignment with what we are selling, then we won't be able to sell. And if you have no sales skills, you won't be able to sell, right? Most people try to sell things from a place of, this is everything that I can teach you. And that doesn't sell anything. People don't buy based on how much they can learn. They buy based on how something makes them feel and on the transformation that they think something can give them. So Most people have zero sales skills and zero consistency because they have no self-worth. When you have self-worth, what I see the people who are successful as healers and as coaches doing is simple. What they do is that they try a product in one way, it doesn't sell one way, and they're like, well, that's an amazing product. Maybe the way I packaged it isn't right. Maybe the way I branded it isn't right. Maybe the price point wasn't right. And then they try again and they get an amazing result. Right, and this is normal behavior for entrepreneurs, is that we don't think the product is bad if it doesn't sell, or we don't think that the value is less if something didn't work. We change the way we communicated about it. We change the way that we presented it, but we don't say, oh, that was just a bad thing, unless the quality of it actually is bad, or what was done actually is bad, right? But the angels are saying you need to work on your worth. No amount of you trying again will work until you feel that you have some worth, until you feel that what you're creating is good. And this is not a representation of the product at all. I swear to God, because there are some horrific products. I mean, ridiculously simple products out there that bring in millions and billions. You know, a simple example would be hair scrunchies, or you know, like hair curler things that the products are worth like $10.99. All someone did was cover some foam with some silk, but those people still bring in, you know, 80K months and $1 million businesses. And you know, it's not about the product. Though out of integrity, the product should be of good quality, right? But that whether or not something sells is about whether or not you think it's the bee's knees, is about whether or not you really understand its worth and you really understand how to communicate its value. Okay. So I promise you, it's not about what you made, it's about who you were. If you presented this as being a worthwhile thing. And most women in particular find praising their own work, validating their own work, speaking well of themselves and their work, taking a compliment for their work to be the hardest thing, right? So you're working on a validation wound. You're working on a fear of validation, because then you won't be able to validate yourself. You won't be able to validate your product. You won't be able to validate others. Okay. Okay. Dear Sky, may I have a reading regarding my father? He will be in cheery tomorrow, and I'm afraid. My love, you guys, everybody here knows, unless you have the consent of the person, I won't do a reading for them. So if he says it's okay, I'll do it, but you need to check in with him if it's okay for me to read him. Okay, Lorena says, hi Sky, can I have a card about my romantic life? Thank you. Yes, and I'm being guided to change decks. So let's see what they have to say, Lorena. Okay, so the card that you got is Bright Future. Stop worrying, everything is going to be fine. So this is an energy of working on worthiness, because whenever you don't feel worthy, you're kind of in foreboding joy. You're like waiting for the other shoe to drop, particularly if you grew up in like authoritarian households where you're always waiting and walking on eggshells. So it's that energy of knowing that it's safe. Oop. And I got the card hop out for you, Life Review. Archangel Jeremiah is the angel of forgiveness. Take inventory of your life and resolve to change or heal anything that is unbalanced. So this is about, we think therapy is about forgiving other people, right? Or spirituality is about forgiving other people, we often forget that therapy is about recreating a loving relationship with ourselves. And it's about forgiving ourselves for staying in those toxic situations, choosing those toxic people, letting those toxic people get close to you. And it's something that we do in the beginning, right? First of all, because we don't know our own worth. And second of all, because people lie, right? They lie to get into these situations. So it is what it is. Bruna's saying, can I have a reading? Can I have a reading about my purpose, work related? What would be the best work for me? Also, what would be the best place for me to move and live now? Your angels are saying to me, you're a healer and you know it. You know it. You just have beliefs that make you think it's not like a life purpose. It's not a job. You'll never make money from it. And it is just a belief. Oh, okay. So gifts from God. Archangel Sandalphon, we angels are bringing you your gifts. We angels bring you your gifts from Creator. Open your arms to receive. Morning affirmations. Say positive things each morning to open up the gates of manifestation. Okay, to open up the gates of manifestation. So, the energy that I'm seeing is like genuine heartbreak. I don't know if that's why you want to move, but Archangel Raphael's coming in and so is Archangel Shamuel. It's like sometimes, the city is like speaks the name of the soulmate. You can't go anywhere without thinking about them and you need to get away. So there's this, I'm getting goosebumps as I say that. Sometimes you just need to take a long holiday. But you're supposed to be an entrepreneur. You're supposed to be a spiritual teacher and a healer. And a huge amount of your power is where you were born. Your ancestors are giving you a lot of energy and power there. It's more powerful to cut the cords to that person and to clear the energy than it is to run. Take a holiday if you need one for 2 or 3 months. Tell your friends and your family that you don't want to discuss this person with them and that you're not open to any interventions. Block them on all the social media and all the channels and move on. Gabriella saying, hi Sky, hope you are well. Can you help me with my base chakra, please? It needs some help. Thank you. Yep, we're going to bring in Archangel Uriel's coming in here really strong. And we're just going to call in that divine light deep into your base chakra and just see it removing all of your fears about finances, all of your fears about safety, financially safe, emotionally safe, spiritually safe. Okay, that's starting to look better. Okay, so Gabriella, the fear that I'm seeing here, we're back to this, to growing up with this pattern of you raising your standards or you expecting something from yourself led to you being emotionally abused. There's deep fear here in the base chakra that you are not going to be emotionally safe if you raise your standards. And there is like your angels are saying 100%, you're a people who are not supposed to be in your life will fall away, right? Toxic clients will fall away. Toxic relationships will fall away. Family relationships will have to readjust. Every time I've up-leveled my standards, people have fallen away. Every single time. Because your standards and your boundaries reveal the people who were with you because they actually liked you versus the people that were with you because they could take something from you. Right? Manipulation is a weird form of fear, and it hides things. It hides things, including people disliking you or hating you for a long period of time. It really But I expect, like, raising your standards, raising your boundaries, looking at what people do, it drives people mad because especially when they've been lying to themselves, um, it just takes away all their power because they're like, well, I'm really nice to you. And it's like, well, being really nice to me doesn't mean that you can abuse me. Being really nice to me doesn't mean you get away with being dishonest. Being really nice to me doesn't mean you can be unprofessional, right? Pouring paint over shit doesn't fly. If you're doing something wrong, being really nice about it doesn't change the fact that it's wrong, period. Okay, so uh, boundaries are there to protect you, and they will protect you, but you have to let them. And it doesn't. You need to stop being so afraid of losing toxic people, and start being afraid of never living the life that you never living the life that you're here to live. Okay. Marina's saying, hi, Sky. Can you please scan one person? His name is Benjamin Eschler, and he's given me permission for it. Brilliant. He has big problems with cluster acne and would like to receive any guidance as to what's causing them and some advice as to how to solve them. Thank you very much. So immediately as I'm scanning him, the emotional aspect is embarrassment. So he's embarrassed about becoming an adult. Really, I don't know if he lacked a male figure, but or it's emotional abandonment. There's like, I've got no idea what being a man means. I've got no idea what kind of a man I want to be, and this isn't even a conversation. So there's like real embarrassment about not knowing and a hiding, maybe even from self, that this hasn't been explored, acknowledged. Almost an energy of like, this just happens to people. And physically, yes, but emotionally and spiritually, these are initiations and these are skills that have to be taught, like providing, protecting, presence, passion. These are skills that have to be taught, and they're also multi-level skills. So if there's just a void there, these are skills we have to make a proactive move to learn. Number two is that they're like, physically, they're showing me his liver. So they're showing me that he has an issue with dairy. So if possible, to cut out as much dairy as possible. And they're showing me activated charcoal. I'm not sure if he's on other substances like alcohol, etc. But he needs help pulling toxic substances to give his liver a break. And the activated charcoal will open up a third detoxing pathway. Hi, Sky. I've been planning to migrate to a new country. I have no information how and when or otherwise. Can I have guidance, please? So I'm just going to pull a card, but I'm immediately getting that, like, no, don't move. I think that this is one of those things where you need to really have a look at why you're doing something. This doesn't feel like it's in your best interests at all. Let me have a look. Yeah. Clairsentience. Notice your recurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. I'm really being shown a strong no here, and to be careful. I don't know why you're moving. I don't know but whoever you're moving to or moving with doesn't have the best intentions for you. I don't think this is a good idea, and that's kind of the guidance that I'm getting from your angel. So I'm going to send an Archangel Michael to help you trust your feelings, and to not let anybody move you. Kate Hodge. Hi, Sky. Any predictions to when little ones will make their debut? My due date is September 4th. I have a feeling it's going to be like September 10th / September 12th time. Yeah, that's coming. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit late, a week or 2 weeks late, they're showing me. And they're also showing me a lot of it's going to depend on you, and in the sense of what you eat and how much you rest in the final stages. But there's an energy of impatience as well. There's energy of impatience as well. But I'm seeing like September 10th / September 11th. Okay. Love Sunshine saying, thank you so much. Really appreciate your advice and views. You're welcome. Beautiful. PB saying, hi, Sky. Can I get an angel reading about my health? Much love to you. Okay. Let's see what the angels have to say. So when I'm scanning you, they're showing me your throat chakra and they're showing me your endocrine system. So throat chakra, spleen, pancreas, and they're really showing me that you are not like, I would start keeping a journal like now. I would start writing this now. because you're blocked in your communication with yourself, because wherever you are, it's not safe for you to be honest about how hurt you are. So I would start getting out of your body and getting it onto paper. Okay, Mattis is saying, "Hi Sky, I think my progesterone is low. Can you please do a scan on my hormones? Thank you very much." I actually think your progesterone and your estrogen are low. I'd say, like, it looks to me like your whole hormone production is on the low side. So I would go, like, literally go and see if you can talk, like, I would 100% go and talk to your doctor and get the appropriate tests run. And I would look at alternative things like seed cycling and stress levels, because when your hormones are low, it means that you are either under a huge amount of stress, and that you're not allowed to communicate. I said hormones, endocrine system, it's all about communication, right? So and not being allowed to communicate, and or communicating inaccurately. So a lot of people, if you study hypnosis and if you study therapy, you start to understand that how you communicate is very much a sign of how you feel more than what's actually real. And the emotions aren't feelings, and that also how you communicate with yourself is way more important than how anybody else communicates with you. Right? So most people are terrible at communicating with themselves. Terrible. I mean, they will literally make a cake, and for the first time, the cake will turn out okay, right? It won't be like the best cake they ever made, but it'll turn out okay. And instead of saying, okay, that was a good try, it will be even better next time, they're like, oh, that was a terrible cake, I'm never baking again. Right? So the way you communicate with yourself is more important than almost everything else. So we're going there. Aisha saying, "Thank you, Sky. So much of what you said resonated. You're right. I didn't value myself in the past and wasn't consistent." Yeah, it's true. When we're the amount of things, I kid you not, that are like, for example, my soulmate shadow work book that I wrote. I think I was, what, 24. It's an incredible book. I worked my ass off on it. The tools inside that book completely recreated my marriage from the inside out. But my low self-value, my low self-esteem, guys, I never launched it. I never told anybody about it. I literally just put it up on Amazon, maybe told 10 people that I was publishing a book. I never did any events around it. I never, because I had no worth in me, right? And the little book now sells many, many copies. And even then, I still barely talk about it. So it's your low self-worth. And one of the things that really increases, I've increased my worth, is the value that I put on my creativity. But what I noticed is that I still have blocks around it receiving passive income. And the more I shift it, the more things that have been up on my website for years start selling and selling and selling and selling. And then you start being able to make money whilst you sleep and help people while you sleep. But you will stop people energetically, even from buying your own products, if you think that they're not enough, if you think they have no value, and it's got nothing to do with how much value that they have. How much worth do you put on a book that could save your marriage? Right? People pay like drop thousands and thousands for a therapist to do that. A book that can do that, it's a pretty powerful, nifty little thing, right? But that you're back to the core, right? If you don't believe it has worth, then it's not going to move. So work on consistency and work on validation. Validation is everything. I'm going to say that again. Validation is everything, because if you don't validate your work to yourself, and I really, really got this, like I knew it superficially and spiritually for a long time, but I really, really got this with gentle parenting. Because when you learn gentle parenting, you stop praising a child just for when they get it right, and you start praising their effort, right? And I really had to learn this for my son. I can't just praise him when he does something. I have to praise him for his effort. And instead of telling him how I feel about his achievement or about his effort, I need to ask him how he feels about his achievement and his effort. Most of us never had that growing up. So that validation, learning to validate yourself, learning to say that was a really good effort, right? That was the best round of sales and marketing you've ever done. That was a really good course. It was the best that you've ever gone through. That was really, really good, right? If you don't learn to say that to yourself on a regular basis, that you are really good, that you are one of the best at what you do, it feels fake and weird at the beginning because it's not familiar. And the more that you validate yourself, the easier it becomes to bring in abundance, because then people ask you and they're like, what would be the best for my fertility or hormone issues? And I'm like, the best thing I've ever done for that is the Fierce Fertility course. It's incredible. I had this and this and this with the students. It's amazing, right? And then they come say to me, what's the best for me to develop my medical intuitive skills? And I'm like, it's the manifestation masterclass, and it's the what's it called, the 7 planes of existence theta healing class, right? And this is what I grew from in this course. This is how I learned in this course. This is exactly what you need. Validation will open up your abundance exponentially because it allows you to give the correct guidance to the correct people in an accurate way. Simple, right? When it's not healed, you will be like, yeah, I kind of created this little course and it's helped a few people. Maybe you'd be interested in it. And what you're doing is you are communicating through the tone of your voice, and by minimizing the product which you created, that you don't have any faith in its ability to help them, and that you don't have any faith in yourself to be able to support them. So of course they're not going to go there. Right? And then you lie to yourself because you go, oh yeah, I sold that. I really did sell it. It didn't work. And it's like, you didn't sell anything except insecurity and the belief that this product wasn't going to help somebody. Most communication is nonverbal, right? So enthusiasm, being honest about the results that things get for people, it's really, really important. And it comes from needing to work on validation. Okay, validation. And validation, interestingly enough, is the core of the self-sabotage wound, right? So if you struggle with self-sabotage, validation is the issue. Same way if you struggle with perfectionism. And they're two opposite responses to the same validation wound. Okay. If you want to understand that deeper, you want to read the book, Will I Ever Be Enough? About daughters of narcissistic mothers, and it explains in depth how those are the wounds at the root of self-sabotage and perfectionism. Okay, Kira's saying, I would love a reading. Thank you. Yep, let's do it. Okay. Confidence. Oh, you got Archangel Michael, and then you got Patience, and you got Life Review. Second time it's come up, right? So they're saying that what we were just discussing, that confidence is about knowing that you are doing the right thing, not necessarily what's quick or easy, but you're doing the right thing, right? Patience. Archangel Raphael says your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. So there's something coming in my energy about you thinking that you need to have like a large number, either a large number of followers or clients or students for you to be able to be successful. And that is just not true. It's an urban myth. It's not about the number of clients you have. It's about the quality of clients you have, right? I know people who are millionaires with a list of 40, 100 people, and I know people who can't make any money from a list literally of more than 40,000 people. It is about the quality of the audience you have. It is about the way that you communicate with them. It is not about the numbers. Life Review, Archangel Jeremiah, take inventory of your life and resolve to change and heal anything that is unbalanced. So stop sharing your dreams with dream stealers. Stop telling people what you're going to do next. Stop. One of the biggest markers of being abused is that you give people who hurt you chance after chance after chance to abuse you. instead of having any sort of boundary around it, right? So if your confidence is low, that is a direct result of not validating yourself and surrounding yourself with critical people or low achieving people. So you really require to take a fierce inventory here, because the level of growth that you're praying for, that you're manifesting, you cannot grow into in a toxic environment. It's like asking a plant to grow and then locking it in a room without sunshine. Okay. So you need to decide what matters more to you, the people pleasing or the growth. And expect people to be pissed, but it is what it is, right? And hard work outgrows almost everything. Hard work is the solution to almost every problem under the sun, right? People can be more talented than you. They can have everything. They can start from different positions of more advantage than you. But if you show up consistently and you work on your divine life purpose every day, work literally compounds, accumulates. It's exponential in its growth. It is mad how quickly you grow when you're consistently showing up for your divine life purpose. If you cannot get away from the abusive person, if you're in the house with them, if you're financially bound by them because of their abuse, etc., then you want to move in the silence, right? You want to start getting stronger in the silence. You want to keep building your social media channels. You want to keep you want to make sure you're exercising and you're eating healthy. You want to make sure that you're meditating. You want to make sure that you're using any time that you have for yourself to nurture and feed yourself, particularly if you're living with a toxic person. And you want to make sure that you're becoming conscious of what you're up against, right? So that you are no longer falling into the traps that a person sets for you so they can keep control over you. Abuse is not about love. Abuse is about control. So if you're a loving person, you think that person is trying to love you. When you start really understanding this, that person, because they weren't taught love, only has control as an option. They don't know how to love, right? So you think the end game of this relationship is for them to get you to love them. The end game is to get your control over you. So if you don't understand the game you're in, then you can't win it, right? If you're playing different games, if you think they're playing the same game as you and they're not, then you're not going to get out, right? So if someone's sole aim is to control you, that's a very different aim for the relationship than to love you, right? And if somebody doesn't know how to love, if they weren't taught how to love, that's all they're left with is control. Okay, and that is what it is. Okay, we're going to send in Archangel Michael to protect you, and we're going to send in the Divine Feminine, Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary to help you move in the silence, to help you start getting ready, start getting strong so that you can move, and to also help you get support, because I have a feeling you're being isolated. I have a feeling that your connections to your family and your friendships are being very quickly destroyed. So get your butt to like a narcissistic recovery program, or to a covert abuse recovery program, because you need to know you're not alone, and you need to start seeing these tactics for what they are, instead of listening to only the abuser's version, because if you only listen to the abuser's version, you start to believe that is the truth, which is very quickly broken in groups like Codependents Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, narcissist recovery programs, things like that. You get recovery programs, a narcissistic. You get programs for recovery from narcissistic parents. You get programs from recovery for narcissistic relationships, like group programs, which are free as well as paid, but they do exist, just like Alcoholics Anonymous. Jennifer Morgan. Hi, Jennifer. Hello, Sky. Would love any guidance as to my new career journey and self-worth issues coming up lately. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Crystal clear intentions. Be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. So self-worth, in my experience, is a hybrid between healing the past traumas and between changing the habits. So kind of like quantum jumping. What I want you to do is write down what you believe would be the perfect life, right? Write down the story of your perfect life. And then I want you to put it on the floor and step on it so you can feel the vibration of it, right? I want you to jump into that timeline. I want you to see what she feels, hear what she hears, see what she sees. So you're in this timeline where you actually have worth, like really deep worth. And I was filming another module for the medical intuitive mastermind around um, how to navigate toxic clients and those kind of situations. We have a whole module on how to do therapy shadow work now as well. So we have the yin and the yang of both. It's not about blaming in any way, shape, or form. It's just about getting them really strong before they go out into the world as therapists and medical intuitives. Now I want them to be so strong, and they are already incredibly strong, and the testimonials they're getting are out of this world. But I'm giving them everything because I want them to be unstoppable, right? And when we're dealing with low self-worth, we tend to just look at getting rid of the past, but we don't create the new identity. So the creation of this new person who has self-worth, what does somebody with self-worth do? So somebody who is unhealed, right? They close their heart and they armor up. And this is a quote from Brené Brown. So somebody that's unhealed or in trauma, they close their heart and they armor up. Somebody that's healed opens their heart and boundaries up, right? And it looks the same from the outside, just like what's it called? Narcissism looks like confidence, but boundaries are not the same thing as armor. Boundaries come from knowing how to meet your own emotional and spiritual needs and from your value system and your virtues. Armor comes as a way of controlling other people, exactly because you don't have any trust that anybody's capable of ever meeting your needs or of nurturing you. And it's designed to keep people away, to keep people at a distance, and it creates this profound loneliness because it's a prison, right? With boundaries, you can then assess whether or not a person is good for you or bad for you. But with armor, no one gets in, no one gets out. Even the people that seem to get close to you never really create a deep emotional connection with you because you're too afraid of it, right? And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you'll always be alone, that nobody will ever really understand you or value you, because someone's capacity to meet you, to see you, to hear you, to make you feel understood, right, is in direct proportion to your capacity to show them who you are. Oh, there we go. So the two cards that jumped for you. Let your angels hold you in eternal bliss. And this card is sleep. It's like rest. So you may need to take like 2 or 3 days just to catch up on sleep, just to let yourself rest. Friends are angels too. Let people in. Let people in. Ask us to bring peace to challenging situations. So that's an important thing. I think we should all do that right now. So let's do a prayer where we ask our angels to come into our lives. Dear God, please send your powerful angels of light. Please send the angel of peace, Archangel Zadkiel, and the Queen of Peace, Mother Mary, to bring peace into all the areas of our life where there is conflict, internal conflict, external conflict, relationship conflict, work conflict, conflicts between friends, and conflict between family. Dear God, we pray for peace. We pray for your strength to know that we are worthy of peace and deserving of peace. And we pray for the courage to choose peace, because we know it will create a space for us to see the truth about how we were really blocking your love, about who were really blocking your intervention, and for us to see the truth about how we were often choosing people that we knew were never capable of meeting our emotional needs because we were too afraid of being with the difficult feelings and traumas to really be willing to heal. Help us to forgive ourselves for the places where we weren't really willing and we didn't really believe in ourselves, so that we can find the courage to face and release all the doors which we have locked to God coming deeper into our lives. Aho, amen, namaste. Okay, Coach is saying, good morning, Skylar. Good morning, beautiful. Coach Angel saying, can I have an angel reading about my health? So immediately I'm seeing like a perfectionism wound and not letting yourself rest. Of course you can. They're showing me some kind of autoimmune. I'm not sure if it's fibromyalgia. I'm not sure if it's I keep showing me your gut and some kind of virus and some kind of autoimmune response, like the body attacking itself. Okay, so everything will be okay. Try not to worry. As long as you rest, okay? Worry makes health problems worse. The nervous system needs to rest. I would really strongly suggest herbs like CBD, ashwagandha, rhodelia. These are like adaptogenic herbs for regulating the immune system. I would really recommend things like chaga or shalat to help you remineralize the body so that you can start rebuilding from the inside out. And I would really recommend booking yourself an Airbnb and getting out of the house, away from all of the family stuff, just taking some real repair time for you. I can see that there's like tears required here, that there's so much, there's at least 2 or 3 hours of crying before you can become emotionally present again. You've like been bottling up and bottling up and bottling up because there's just so much to do. And your worth is deeply connected to what you do because of your childhood upbringing. And there's a healing here that you need to start connecting your worth to who you are instead of what you do. We're going to call in the inner child angels to help you with that. Okay. That's good. That's finishing now. Okay, Gabriella saying, Dear Sky, could you please give me some guidance about my spiritual business? On what should I focus? Should I quit my actual job? Gosh, okay, I'm just going to have it, like it's showing on my face. I'm just going to have like a rant moment. Your only job is to serve God, okay? That's your actual job. The job you're in right now, that's the fake job, okay? The job that you were told that you have to do to get abundance is not your real job. Your real job is to serve God, the ultimate company, the ultimate operating officer, the ultimate chairman of the board, as Louise Hay would say. Okay, so it's as you step into your divine life purpose, you make more money from that than you ever make from a job. I make more money now than I used to make in a whole year, sometimes in a week or in a month, right? It's not like monetizing your spiritual gifts or monetizing your divine gifts is way more profitable and serves the planet and humanity way more and serves your family way more than a job. However, the core belief that you have is that your real job is to make money and to serve other people, and the fake job is to serve God. So can you see the problem and can you see the conflicting belief? So the first thing we have to do is change the belief that you have an actual job and a fake job. We're just going to change it to you have 2 jobs because that's easier than shifting it to serving God as the real job. We're going to shift it to you have 2 jobs, and then we're going to shift it to your actual job as God. But that's the natural progression. Okay. And you're just going to start showing up every day, doing videos every day, talking about what you do. If nobody knows who you are, then why would they choose you to work on stuff with? And if you think your divine life purpose is not a real job, why would they choose you to work on their issues with? Right? Especially when there are so many people who this is all they do. So it's really like this understanding, and it's quite an advanced understanding, that it's not about you. It's about the fact that there are many, many, many people suffering, and that you have gifts that can help them. You are a key for specific locks that nobody else has the door to. You are God's answers to specific prayers that that specific people have prayed that nobody else can speak to, nobody else can vibrate at. And yeah, but that belief that your divine life purpose is a fake job, whew, that one you have to like literally burn it, write it on a piece of paper, do like whatever healing work you need to do. Whoever taught you that your divine life purpose is a fake job, yeah, right? It's the biggest lie in the universe. Your divine life purpose is your only job, and it will be financially compensated. I wouldn't say quit it now. I'd say quit your job in about 3 to 6 months when you have proof that you can make money from this, because some people need to see it to believe it. And right now you're one of those people. If you have faith, then at least a little bit of faith, God can move mountains. But if you literally are at no faith, then you need some demonstrations, and God will give you demonstrations, right? God won't limit it. But first you have to show up. Kira saying, you're amazing, Sky. Oh, that's very kind of you, darling. Bruna saying, Sky, can I have a heartbreak clearing? Yeah, you can. We're going to send in Archangel Shamuel to do a heartbreak clearing for you. So imagine your heart starting to spin anti-clockwise. I'm going to do this for myself as well. Anybody else that's had their heart broken recently, whether it's by difficult soulmates, friendship breakups, difficult clients, arguments with children, wars, disease, whatever it is that broke your heart. I'm going to bring in Archangel Shamuel and give out so much love and empathy now. Okay. Pritzi's saying, thank you very much, Sky. So, Vanme, I have a reading on my right knee. Thank you. So right knee is like masculine pride. So it's this, it's a provider wound. It's a part of you that feels like you desperately want to be provided for on an unconscious level, but you made like a vow that you'd never let anybody provide for you. And there's this part of us like, no, I can take care of myself. I can provide for myself. And it's so painful. So painful. So whenever there's pain in the body, it's because the relationship has become so painful, or the situation has become so painful, and we're in denial about it normally, right? It's more painful than we're able to admit. Doville saying, hi, Sky, can I have a reading and help with finances? Thank you. Yes, you can. Okay. Okay, so the card that you got is notice your recurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. So I have a feeling that you are, you need to level up. I have a feeling that you're around other people who have achieved less than you consistently. And that this is like you're getting that feeling of you need to have an inner circle. It doesn't necessarily, like, I'm not getting the feeling that you have to remove these people from your life, but I'm getting a feeling that you need to create a business circle, a circle where people are consistently achieving more than you, or what you want to achieve, so that you are getting into that energy and that vibration instead of getting into the Yeah, instead of getting into like being around other people who have achieved less or have less. If you're around, let me put it this way, if I'm manifesting a 7-figure business and I am constantly in a circle of people that can't even pay their own rent, I'm going to find myself not talking about my success, not celebrating my success, not getting excited about my plans. One, because I know that that kind of stuff is going to bring out my predator energy. Their predator energy, because they're going to be like, oh, she has something we don't have, and we have to get it from her. And the other, because I'm going to be aware that it's going to be rubbing salt in a very painful poverty wound that they have not yet healed. Right? It's very different than doing charity work or than doing pro bono work where you're helping one or two people, but they're aware of the value of what you're providing and they're there with the intention of learning, because everybody's on a different soul path or journey. So if you're with people, if you're surrounded by people who have no intention of ever having a successful business, who are happy to stay where they're at, then you need a circle of people who are growing, who are doing what you're doing. Everybody needs community, right? And everybody needs to be able to bounce off of where they are with their spiritual growth and their spiritual journey. You can't keep holding yourself back in that way. So let's just take a minute to call in the friend angels to help you find some really good friends that are going to love you and support you. There we go. Okay. Okay. Gonna do more. Curious saying, love it. You're welcome, darling. Curious saying, this is work related, all resonates. It can be. Look, people assume, and I think it's quite a lot of people give up on business in general, is that business is all about relationships, just like every other area of life. And business owners get their heart broken a lot because they're in relationships where money is involved, and people will lie for money, people will cheat for money, people will put what they think is their own best interest above everybody else's for money. They will really how many people do you know that like their boss? Right? The jealousy is real. So in that, if you're the boss in that energy, you need to start hiring from a place of very deep boundaries. And in the beginning, the self-worth is normally so low for most business owners that they don't do that. They just hire the first person they can get instead of hiring from a boundaried place. And it's really heartbreaking, especially when you've been working side by side with people for a long time and you realize they were only ever in it for the money, or they became jealous of your success, and they think they should own your company, or they start taking credit for your success and saying you'd be nothing. It's really heartbreaking. So it does come up around work, just like it comes up when friendships break up, and it's okay to give yourself time to do the heart song, and to really grieve that loss and to do heart healings for that. Okay, Journey to Divine Love is saying, so happy to catch up today. I pray that you're doing well. I would like clarity on my finances. Thank you so much. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so the first card that I got for you was Comfort. Archangel Azrael saying, I'm happy. I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. And then the following card is Relationship Harmony. Archangel Raguel, we angels are open to the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. So I would re-listen to the peace exercise, but they're saying that your finances are being blocked by the amount of arguments and conflict. So what happens, and you might want to use a mirror for this exercise, but what happens when you're unhappy is that your face actually changes. So I'm going to take off my blue light glasses for this, right? When you're unhappy, these muscles tighten, so because you frown, right? So these muscles tighten. all the muscles kind of shrink into your face. And even when you relax, the muscles are still tight. So this becomes shorter. This is often why we have hooded eyes. This part starts to come down like this. Right, I'm just going to see if I find you see that everything comes down, you almost get hooded eyes, right? And then we have what I call stay away from me face. Okay, so because deep down we're so hurt that we just want people to stay away, right? And we don't realize how that impacts our abundance, but also how then particularly how it impacts our marketing, particularly how it impacts our visibility, particularly how the day after an argument is the day where you're likely not to shower, not to eat properly, not to do your hair, and because you have low energy, right? You've just absorbed all the shame and negativity and you're feeling bad, and your primary focus is on resolving the argument, not on yourself or your divine life purpose, right? Whether that's with your family or with an employer, whatever. So, or with a soulmate. So it directly impacts your abundance. So this is why I said you may need, like at the beginning, it's maybe important to hire a customer service person. It may be important to get away from a toxic relationship or partner, if this is a constant pattern. Because if there's a cycle of there being nasty arguments every 2 or 3 weeks or every 3 or 4 weeks, that every time you start recovering from the first round, the next whammy comes, and then you start becoming invisible, right? You start walking on eggshells, and that directly impacts your marketing, your visibility, and therefore your sales, right? Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to do our closing prayer. I love you all so much. Oh, Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.